When the EDiHTA consortium was brought together and we were preparing the proposal to respond to the European Commission call of the EDiHTA framework, the stakeholders were already in the center of our attention because the European Commission in the call has already identified some key stakeholder groups. These stakeholder groups, more specifically decision makers, industry partners, patients, healthcare providers, and of course the HTA agencies and bodies who are the practitioners of HTA methodologies, they were always in the center of our attention and the center of the strategy in which the proposal was built. We want to build something that will be implemented and will be utilizable across the European Union from all these stakeholder groups. And we want to make it meaningful, and to do so, we are involving them in this co-creation strategy and methodology across the four years of the project. One of the first points where we actually involve the stakeholders is by identifying their needs and requirements. It is important to know that to identify this, we used the network of the EDiHTA consortium and we expanded it to try to reach out to as many organizations and institutions possibly involved in these stakeholder groups. Finally, we reached out to 97 different organizations and institutions in the 5 groups previously mentioned. There were points that there was consensus, and this is very important to note so, but there were also points of conflicts. And this is exactly some points on which the strategy of the EDiHTA consortium will focus in the next years in order to create something that will be implementable. It is important to know that all stakeholders identified the need for having something that's harmonized and creates some standards on how to assess digital health technologies and how to best capture the value of digital health technologies. Also, one more important thing is what kind of technologies to focus on, and there is a need for focusing on interoperable technologies that are already part of patient healthcare pathways across the European zone. On top of that, stakeholders have actively asked to be part of the assessment as long as part of the development. Eventually, they consider the development phase and the assessment phase to be going in parallel, so that they are also part of this, and digital health technologies that are being developed have a more smooth development phase until even the market access and even the post-market implementation. Eventually, HTA and a framework and the EDiHTA framework can be center of the attention and center as a support in this effort. To conclude, this is just to say that this was the initial effort to involve stakeholders in the co-creation methodology of the EDiHTA framework. There will be further points with expert consultation going into the development phase within 2025, moving to the stakeholder evaluation workshop, which will be carried out in Brussels in the beginning of 2026, and of course the piloting phase of the final product, which also be carried out in 2026.